talking about Navajo ply. I have a single here that I've spun, and we're going to Navajo ply it. Now, a lot of people call it Navajo ply, a lot of people call it chain ply, a lot of people call it N ply. I believe that, although I'm not positive of this, but I believe that the traditional Navajo ply is done on a Navajo spindle. It is a 3-ply, but it is not a traditional 3-ply. A traditional 3-ply, you'd have, all right, let's do that. 1, 2, nope, have to do this even though that's not really right. For a traditional 3-ply, you have your leader. You've spun all your singles in the same direction, and you take all 3 of your singles like this, and you put them into your leader, and you'd spin them all in the opposite direction that you spun them originally, and you'd have a 3-ply. 1, 2, 3. With a Navajo or a chain ply, you're only using one single that you've spun, one bobbin full. And what you're going to do to start is you're going to make sure that you have a loop on the end of your leader. And there are a couple of different ways to do this. I usually tie my yarn onto the end of my loop there. I just make a little knot like that. And again, you may see other ways to do that, whatever you're most comfortable with. The most important thing is now we're starting with three singles, 1, 2, and 3. It sounds more complicated than it is, and once you watch someone do it a little bit and you try it yourself, I think really the key is just doing it until it kind of gets that light bulb. What you're going to do is you're going to grab the single that you're going to be working with and pull it through the chain just like a crochet stitch. I think that's probably where the chain, why people call it a chain ply, because it is like crocheting. You're pulling a stitch through the loop and letting it spin. I need a little more tension on there to pull that in a little bit better. What confused me when I first learned to do this was that I have 3 pieces here, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 pieces here, and I got very confused as to when I had to let this go. You can let this go anytime, because what happens as soon as you let that go, you have 1, 2, 3 that are plying together, and right where this stops is where this new one comes in, so that's 3. So you can get comfortable. You can do very short, I'm not even being able to spin this. You can do very short loops this way, which most people don't do, I don't think. I don't do it this way. See how I'm doing very short loops? I'll try to slow this down. Most people, I think, do longer loops this way. And feed it on. See how pretty that is? The fact that you've chained it, you've 3-plied it, makes it very round. This is a single that I've spun that is all different colors and has some locks in it as well. I wanted to be able to show you a little textured Navajo or chain plying. I'm pulling my yarn through my loop. Hope you can see that. Okay, this is just a loop, and I'm pulling my yarn right through, and then this twists in together and this twists in together. I hope you can see that, and it feeds onto the bobbin. I slide this through, I stop, I let this twist and this twist, so I have 3 strands that are actually being fed together. 3 strands, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. When I get here, that's the end of my loop. I reach in, grab my yarn off of my bobbin, and make a longer loop. And then I feed this on. Now there are a couple of different ways to do this. One of the ways I find kind of nice is if you leave your right hand still. Make the spin. I'm going to grab the yarn, and as I move my left hand forward, I'm just going to grab all these together. Push it onto the bobbin. You can see that. This is one of those things you probably just need to play with. It's very simple to do once you get the hang of it. Very sort of weird to explain to somebody what's going on here. Maybe if I slow this down a little, you'll see. Okay, I'm going to grab it. I'm going to pull and make this longer loop, and then let this feed on. And then this spins together. You'll get a little bit of a bump where your loop joins the next piece sometimes. Don't let that bother you. This is going to be over twisted because I'm going so slowly to show you. I really need to pull this in a little bit, move this down a little bit, and get up to speed if I want this to be a balanced yarn. And you know, you check that just like a regular yarn. If you do this and it's curling back on itself, it has too much twist. You either have to speed up your treadle, change your wheel pattern. I'm going to feed this on a little quicker, like that. Just like that. Okay, so I now have my knot and my single. I'm going to grab my single and pull it through the hole, like that. And again, and I'm going to start feeding it on. Because you do have control over this, I can see when the white is coming, and I can pull this shorter if I want it to be on a white piece. See what I'm saying? And then pull it again. Okay, does that sort of make sense? Instead of pulling this, let's load some of this on so you can see. Instead of pulling this through this way, if I pull it all the way through here, then the texture is going to be against a green piece. If I don't make it as big a loop and I let the texture be on the texture, I have control of that. And I can just pull the next loop up, and the texture now is on itself, so that increases the texture a little bit. So you do have some control. Most of the time I don't fiddle. I just spin it. But if you were looking to create a specific yarn that you wanted to, for instance, maybe only have the green on the green, or you got to a specific point and you said, boy, I don't like the way it looks when the white is on the green, you can make your loops shorter, okay, like this, to manipulate what's coming next. So again, if I want this bit of lock to be wound with this, plied in with this bit, I'm going to keep a short loop so that this is going to stay right there. Okay? There are also all kinds of ways you can use this ply technique to use add-ins. You can spin your locks in when you're doing this, but that's for another video.